So as I was saying, though all of you have shared your fears, one of the biggest fears that people have is the fear of dying, right? It's very common. And it's not something like public speaking that you can say, oh, I won't die. Everybody's going to die. So that's the number one fear amongst every human being, or almost every human being around the world. Guess what's the number two fear? I can't hear you. Public speaking. Public speaking is the number two fear everybody around the world has after the fear of death. Okay? And that is why we have VoC and we have all these that you can overcome your fear of public speaking. Now, we human beings are truly blessed with a gift, and that is the gift of imagination. Nobody can say that they do not have a good imagination. Though looking at some people, you would doubt it, but that's another thing. The thing with imagination is, the best use of imagination is creativity. You can do anything you want, change anything you want about yourself, your surroundings, your life, your career, and make it better. So that's the best use of imagination. What is the worst use of imagination? Any ideas? Ikra? I know it sucks when I know your name, isn't it? Any idea what's the worst use of imagination? Anar? Not being able to. Okay, that's one thing. But according to what I wanted to say, the worst misuse of imagination is anxiety. Many a times when you want to come in front of people, however confident you may be as a person, but the moment you come, stand here and need to speak, you start having butterflies, you start having something going around in your stomach, you start sweating, you start having palpitations. A doctor would say you're about to have a heart attack, but it's just simple anxiety. You may not be experiencing too much of it right now, but believe me, when you are here next week, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about, right? And you have to practice to overcome that. But keep one thing in mind. You have this anxiety. You're sitting on your tables. We are just 4 judges over here in a crowd full of 20 people. What's the worst thing that can happen to you? As you walk up from there and come over here, what could go wrong? Arzu. Exactly. If you tripped over, but so what? It's not the end of the, we'd laugh a little. I know I would laugh, but that's it. What else? What do you think can go wrong? The camera is watching you. It'll capture it, but never mind about that. Right? And so what? A few hundred people will see. So what? Some people have stomach ache. Some people have diarrhea. I've seen people who throw up. Let me share a personal experience with you. That didn't happen to me, but happened to a friend of mine. So there was this play that we were participating in, and we were a couple. And I had a lot to speak. I don't know why, but anyway. And she had her dialogues. So when her turn came, she's like frozen like this. She's looking at the audience of about 500 to 600, and she's shaking. So I casually went next to her and said, speak your line, smiling at the public. And she's like, Shirin. I'm like, it's okay, just say. And I said another line, which was not part of the skit. I can see our director is staring at me like, what are you saying? It was an Islamic play, but I said, I have to, cover her. She goes, I think I'm going to pee. So I tell her, it's okay. Now, when I said it's okay, I meant it's okay if you think you're going to pee. She peed. She peed in front of 600 people. Her pee just came out. Luckily for her, unfortunately for me. Luckily for her, nobody knew. There was a little puddle there. I could see I'm walking on pee, but she said her dialogue. The play went on, everything was over, and I was the only person who knew that she peed on stage. My point is, so what? It wasn't the end of the world. Yes, I do torture her time to time. Yes, I blackmailed her during her wedding that, I'm going to tell this story on stage. Yes, even when she was applying for job positions, I said, put it on your resume, but that's me and her. But the rest of the world did. But of course, you don't know who it was, so it's okay. So my point is that when you come over up here, do not let your anxiety pull you back. Don't let fear stop you. The fact that you took the first step and decided to be part of the VoC is amazing. Now, all you have to do is choose your topic and work at it. But now, that is the key thing. Work at it. There are situations in life when we say, fake it till you make it. It works sometimes, but not always. You cannot always fake it till you make it. If your plane is crashing, thinking I'll flap my hands like a bird and fly, not going to happen. If you're in shark-invested waters and think I'm going to recite this and that shark's not going to eat me, not going to happen. So you have to do a lot of prep work. Overconfidence can be a killer. Will agree that we've seen over the past 2-3 years, people who come up here in their first round are amazing. But in the second round, because of overconfidence, they make mistakes, they stumble, and they mess up. Now, because I love stories, I'm going to share another story of myself being overly confident. So a few years ago, I'd say about 15, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, I think, we went to Malaysia for a holiday. And in Malaysia, for those of you who are familiar, there's this place called Genting. The name is totally deceiving. There's nothing gentle about that place. It's a place that has the most amazing rides, roller coasters and all kinds of crazy rides. So we were so excited to get there. So we are planning as a family, what are we going to do? And my husband says, listen, he tells me and the kids, the first thing that we should do is we should scout the whole park. Look at all the options and then have a game plan. And my daughter and I were like, that's so boring. Let's not do that. This is a holiday. This is not something that we are planning. Let's just go on the first ride we come across. He's like, I don't think that's a good idea. We said, listen, Mr. Boring, you and my son, you guys can take us, do what you want. We are going on this ride. So my daughter and myself, women of the 21st century, macho, confident, went up to this ride, which said something like throwing you out of this world. Amazing. We didn't even read anything, just went up, got belted, let's go. Within 5 seconds, we saw death. Because that ride first took just halfway up, and then the whole thing turned over. So our feet were up, our heads were down. And I'm the mom, that's my daughter. So I'm supposed to be the strong, mom. My daughter said, Mom, I said, forget you, I'm missing my mom. But anyway, you can't come off at that time. The ride went up and down and all around. It was a crazy, insane ride. 5 minutes of my life. I think I lost 10 years of my life in those 5 years. I must have lost some weight as well. My scarf, which I used to wear with a pin, was on the floor. I called every imam, every God, Bhagwan, Jesus, everybody, and I was screaming. My daughter was screaming, and everybody around found us very entertaining. They were like looking at us and laughing. People down were taking our pictures. At one point, I said, I'm going to come down and sue you if you put me on, YouTube or anything. But then I said, if I come down, chances are God is just going to pluck me from up here and that's it, the end. When the ride was over, came off, my husband and my son are giving us our scarf. At that time, I didn't think of hijab. I'm like half walking out of that ride. I couldn't walk. I was like, I couldn't feel my feet. My head was spinning. My daughter was throwing up. I said, oh my God, this is what death feels like. That was the last day that I ever went on a roller coaster. And that day and today, when my husband says, let's plan things out, I sit down and say, what should we do? I learned my lesson, right? I'm not saying husbands are always right. No, they're not. They're being recorded. But I'm saying that overconfidence can sometimes backfire. So it pays to do your groundwork. It pays to do your homework. It pays to prepare and then go. Nobody's running away. The world's still going to be there. But how you go about it is very, very important. Now, if you do this the right way, the world is going to be in your hands. The point of us trying to promote public speaking is so that you succeed in life. Some of you are students, some of you are in business, some of you have achieved what you want in life. So what? Learning never ends. You can continue to learn till the day you die. So why not make a better person of what you are and of your skills so that when you go out there in the market or in the world, you are a force to be reckoned with, right? There's this lovely quote by Richard Branson that I really, really love. He says, if you are given an opportunity to do something and you feel that you can't do it, don't say no. Say yes. And then learn how to do it. It could be anything. But when you say no, you're limiting yourself. Let me take you back to when you were in school. Do you remember when the teacher would look at you asking a question, you don't know the answer? Most people do what some of you will do here soon. You look down. You're not being modest, you just don't want the teacher to look at you. I know, I used to do that in maths. Every time my teacher would want me to come and solve an equation on the table, I would find my desk so fascinating. He knew that, so he would pick me by my name, Shirin, if you're done looking at your desk, can you come solve this? My point is that these things will happen in life, but you need to know how to overcome them, right? So practicing, preparing, we spoke about all this in last week's Masterclass for those of you who were there. But those who weren't, make sure you do this. However familiar you are with your topic, you may feel it's something simple as ABC. The more you practice, the more better you're going to be. And as Ashik said, that what's happening on the inside and the outside, everybody doesn't know. See, we had a malfunction with the mic. But so what? Hussein took over and I went behind and sorted it out. I'm having another malfunction right now, which nobody of you can tell. I got these lovely shoes. I was so excited about them. I based my whole outfit on them. Guess what? 5 minutes after walking in, I realized they're very tight. Can you tell? I'm still going to be wearing these shoes for the rest of my life, but that's a personal malfunction that I'm going through, right? So make sure that when you come here next week, you've done all your groundwork, you're fully prepared, and you're here to wow us, right? We'll answer all your questions later. In the meantime, best of luck. Thank you.